Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds. Poor people gonna rise up and get their share. Poor people gonna rise up and take what's theirs. Don't you know you better run, 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 run.
It's been a great event so far. A lot of great discussions, good bit of crack. It's been a fantastic opportunity for young Republicans from Belfast to Cork and all the way to Dublin to meet each other and discuss various issues. A great discussion this morning about the media and the role that plays, and discussions last night about Uniting Ireland. Later on this evening then we'll have a Bath speaker telling us about the developments there, and Jim Slavin from Scotland telling us about the increasing momentum towards independence. So huge amount of interesting discussions and that kind of thing. Of course, our party president then, Gerry Adams, an annual opportunity to address all the young Republicans in the party, and it's fun. Like, I mean, we've had a great crowd and people, a large crowd last night, good crowd tonight, and it's great to see so many young people enthusiastic about Republican politics and interested in getting involved in making Sinn Fein the most serious party about youth issues and young people getting involved.
Basically, I'm here today to engage with other young Republicans. I want to see this new National Youth Strategy that's come through from the National Youth Committee mainstreamed through the party. The senior party will engage more with young people, they'll get their voices heard, and they'll be able to become part of the decision-making process within the party. There's hundreds of young Republicans here, people that I wouldn't have known before I arrived here, and it's good to engage with other Republicans, and it's good to see what other people are doing in different areas.
Because finally the tables are starting to turn, talking about the revolution.
Brilliant crowd. I think that's telling in itself. It's significant in that, you know, you have young Republican activists coming from all over the island in order to debate, talk about, confront, discuss issues that are important to them and issues that matter to them. It's also good. I mean, we've had, as well as that kind of political discussion, which is important, and we've also brought others in to include them in the discussion. We had a brilliant contribution earlier on, which I chaired, with a number of panellists around the role of the media currently and how it influences politics, how sometimes for the positive and other times indeed for the negative. We then moved on to votes and discussion around a motion to amend the current Sinn Fein constitution in line to make it more organisationally suitable for young people to be active, to involve themselves with Sinn Fein, to involve themselves with the Republican Youth Committee. So it's an exciting time. I think it's been a long time in coming. The people who are responsible for this have been driving it for around about 2 years, putting in intense work up and down the country. So it's an exciting time and it's a great time. Any one of these people could walk into the position that I hold, or any position up and down this party. And as we know, within Sinn Fein, it isn't about positions. It's about giving political leadership. It's about being comradely. It's about setting about achieving Republican objectives and achieving equality and rights for all.
Current leadership, beware.
I didn't say that. You said that.
Well, I'm here for a purpose. I was here with two other journalists to talk about the role of the media. The question posed to us was, were we a fetter on or a force for change? My argument is we're neither. I don't wake up in the morning saying what can I do to help today or what can I do to hinder today, but I know that people have different attitudes, different thinking about the media, and I think dialogue's important. So when you're asked to discuss the media, when you're asked to do it in front of this audience, then, to use a saying my ma would have used, you have to be big and ugly enough to come along, say your bit, take the questions, answer them to the best of your ability. And we as journalists know you're not going to have everyone on board. Not everyone's going to agree with your way of things and your say on things. But I think in that dialogue, maybe people become better informed and have some better understanding of what our role is and what their role is. I mean, and that last question today about the media's role in promoting a united Ireland, Republicans don't need to persuade journalists. That's not going to deliver a united Ireland. And the point that I was making to that audience is they need to talk to a unionist community. So is it worthwhile? Was it worth coming? Was it worth doing? Yes to all of those.
Standing in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds a whisper. And finally the tables are starting to turn, talking about a revolution. Yes, finally the tables are starting to turn, talking about a revolution. Oh, no.
My name is Circa Berry. I have been a member of the party since 2007, and this is actually my first youth congress because I hadn't been involved in the youth movement. I joined the Common straight away, so this is my first experience of it.
It's great to see our party president, Jerry Adams, taking such a part in the conference. Do you think this inspires and helps our younger comrades?
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. I think to see him here, especially as a familiar face of the movement and someone who's done so much for the movement, is great. And personally, for myself, to have him listening in on me is even better, as I praise him.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Prepare you well for your future career.
Thank you, Gormagat.
Ceapan gur ionintach an deis seo ar dormí a phlé module strátaí sí le na hóige agus chuile do bhaine lei sin. Tá annach chuid daoine ógáil seo agus is dearfa chu sin gan áras ar bé agus ceapan gcuil an díospóireacht tá phlé gon go dtí seo tá sé ionintach tá na tormaí ar fad an nachtú agus tá chuileúir sásta denraí leis an phleanad tá leací amach ag an chuis náisiúnta óige. I think the COGAL here is a great opportunity to discuss our own opinions as regards to youth strategy, youth Republican strategy, and what way we think going forward. There's a great number of young people here from all corners of Ireland, and it's great to see that going forward. And I think we've laid out a great plan for how we should develop on that and really integrate youth within the structures of Sinn Fein in terms of the broad Republican project.
Anyway, I want to welcome all of you here and to commend your work and to commend everyone who has helped to put this CODAL, this Congress together. I know it takes a lot of effort planning and organising these occasions, so fair play to everybody. And you meet at a crisis time in the politics on this island, and you are tasked with very important decisions which will shape the response of Republican youth to this crisis and to meet the historic challenge of building a new republic in the 21st century. And I think your backdrop here is entirely appropriate, that this generation can deliver Irish unity. So it's a question not of can we certainly can. It's how we do it and when we do it and the effort that has to be made in the upcoming period to make that a reality. And I think it's worth reminding ourselves that 31 years ago, before many of you were born, many other young men and women, mostly not much older than yourselves, were in protest in Armagh Women's Prison and in the H blocks of Longcash. And if you could imagine this was the H blocks, or indeed Armagh Women's Prison, and consider that for 5 and for 6 years those prisoners were kept in the most brutal and most primitive of conditions. And at this point, 31 years ago, Bobby Sands was on the 3rd day of his hunger strike, and that fast would last another 63 days until his death. Now, the hunger strikers and the women on protest were no different from you. They just happened to be the people who were in that particular situation, and they responded in the way that has become historically famous. But they listened to music of their time, they read magazines, they fell in love, they did all the happy things that all of us do. They played GA, Gaelic sports. Some of them might have even supported soccer teams. But the big thing in common between you and them is that, like you, they recognise that there are things wrong in this country and they need to be rectified. And they were determined to do something about that. And faced with very extraordinary circumstances, they responded in a very extraordinary and courageous way. Our big task is to complete the work which they advanced very considerably. We don't need the same level of sacrifice, and that's a good thing. We here shouldn't imagine what it was like to be going through that period. That period's done. But it does need the same type of dedication, however that manifests itself. And every generation has to make struggle in its own way. So our historic task is to achieve the freedom of our people, to unite Ireland, to end partition, and to build a new republic. So at this time of huge challenge, hundreds of thousands of Irish citizens unemployed, hundreds of thousands struggling to survive, highly educated, intelligent young people flooding out of this island in scenes reminiscent of the 1950s and the 1980s. The euro is in crisis. It's caught up in its own contradictions. It's caught up in the contradictions of capitalism. In the north, the British Tory party are imposing a savage £40 billion cut to public funding. Here, in this part of the island, there's a policy of austerity that has been imposed with the connivance and agreement of the Fine Gael and the Labour government. So what are political activists to do? We can either meekly accept the situation, we can stand with the big people, or we can stand with the citizens. We can resist austerity, we can be part of a fight back. And across Ireland, Sinn Fein is leading that political fight back. We're putting the interests of citizens above those of banks and bondholders. We're putting the interests of this island and its people above those of Brussels or Berlin or Frankfurt. And how we do that is all about choices. The government here is making all the wrong choices. They planned for years of the same failed policies. Yesterday the Taoiseach signed for an austerity treaty that will make austerity a legal requirement on member state governments and impose even more cuts. So we can say without fear of contradiction that if these policies continue, if the austerity treaty is ratified, things will get worse. That's without doubt. What are we going to do about it? Well, first of all, there is going to be a referendum campaign. The government didn't want to have it. We took legal advice. We were told it would be unconstitutional. We were prepared to take them to court, and then the AG advised there had to be a referendum. So we're going to campaign for a no vote. That's the democratic option. And Republican youth will have a very significant role in that campaign, and you need to find your space in that. You need to read up and learn the arguments and be able to articulate, and particularly the use of social networking to influence others about the Sinn Fein position. So we have to build that critical mass of activism to make a difference. We need cohesion. We can't be working north and south. No, we can't be sitting with our backs to each other across the border. We have to think nationally and act locally, but we have all the time to be looking at what's happening and learning what's happening and informing ourselves about what's happening in both parts of the island. And we have to turn that broad emotion of support for basic republicanism into active support for Irish unity and for an active commitment into the type of objectives that we have set ourselves. So Sinn ma couple of focal. Thanks for inviting me to speak here. Thanks for having me. Have a good Congress, have a good Codal, enjoy yourselves, and Chucky Arda. I think that slogan, because it's more than a slogan, it's actually an affirmation of faith, and it's also a fact that this generation can achieve Irish unity. And I've only been here for a brief time, but there's obviously a lot of energy here, a lot of potential, and a lot of possibilities. And you know, Republican youth have always played a very significant role in struggle, and I think this Republican youth and this generation will be no different than all the others who advanced our struggle. So this one can actually, with the rest of us, live in a free, united Ireland.
It's great to see so many young people out getting involved in politics. I mean, so many people say at the minute that so few people, young people, are involved in politics, and because of the fact that, you know, we're not as, maybe we aren't coming through the troubles, or, you know, that we don't need to be as active. I just don't think that's true. I think we're coming through such a terrible time. You know, we've got mass levels of unemployment, emigration, the economy obviously is in such a bad state, and I think we really need to be out as young people, get our strategy right, putting forward our ideas, and really, you know, coming to the fore with what we see as a plan for Ireland at the moment. So I'm delighted to see so many people here. For me, particularly as a person from the 6 counties, I mean, we've just come through a particularly savage presidential campaign, and I think it reopened a lot of, you know, the discussion around Irish unity, and to be honest, we needed to have it, and it hasn't really happened in the 26 counties before. And I've noticed a lot of young people that I know from the 26 counties starting to become more and more involved in the project, so I think it's huge, and I definitely think we are the people that can push it to the fore and achieve it.
It's been a perfect opportunity, you know, everyone to come together from all across the island. It's, for me, coming from Belfast, it's a unique opportunity because it's not every weekend, you know, you get to come together with other people from across the island. Do you know what I mean? I've met many other contacts here, and great. Everyone had a brilliant night last night as well. So ME links are all part and parcel of coming down. So it's been good.
It's for me a pleasure to be here in the National Congress of Sinn Fein, because me from the Basque Country, it's a huge opportunity to learn from the Irish process in general, and from the struggle of the youth movement in Ireland, the challenges that they have right now. It was very interesting, the debates going on this morning about journalism and the internal discussion that the comrades here they have. And I will be back in the Basque Country to report about this very interesting meeting. Of course, I take my time also to explain the situation in the Basque Country and the challenges we face with the peace process that's going on right now in the Basque Country.
I mean, it's great meeting up with everyone. You get to meet them individually through the year, but it's great to get everyone into one place as well. You know, we've had some great debates, good discussions, and like the sign says up at the top there, hopefully we will be the generation to bring about Irish unity.
With the biggest number ever of young Republicans at a Congress, at a Ceol, it's great to see it. It puts a big challenge before the party, because what we now need to do is ensure that today, in conjunction with the youth strategy adopted at the September 2011 Ardèche, is fully integrated within the mainstream of Sinn Fein political activity. That places a big burden of responsibility on national, regional and local leaderships to work out how they're going to support, encourage young Republicans to become more fully involved and take ownership of political activism at all levels in the party.
The political slogan behind this generation delivering Irish unity, believe that the young political activists here today have taken that on board?
No doubt about it whatsoever. These young people here have internalised that. That's why they're here in such big numbers, and they're up for the challenge. They're going to step up to the plate, and I have every confidence in them that they're going to deliver, and deliver big style.
You know, it was so encouraging to see so many young people who are taking an interest in politics, especially at a time when so many are apathetic and so many are leaving the country, that it's great to see that we have so many young people in this room who are willing to engage with the political process and the political system and, you know, fight for what they believe in. I encourage anyone who has any interest in politics to come along next year and get involved, get into the debates and try and make your stamp in a new Ireland.
Sinn Fein is the party to be in. With me standing previously in the election, being here, it's just great to see a room full of young people who are all potential candidates for the future.
talking about a real